On the distant planet of Zalara, a shimmering jewel in the galaxy known for its ethereal beauty and mysterious inhabitants, life was a vivid tapestry of the extraordinary. Zalara's skies glittered with radiant hues, blending auroras of pink, blue, and green, while its forests were alive with bioluminescent flora that glowed softly in the twilight. The air was filled with the hum of alien wildlife, their songs a symphony of strange and wondrous sounds. It was amidst this enchanting backdrop that Lyra, a young alien girl, found herself abandoned. Lyra was different, even among the diverse inhabitants of Zalara. Her skin, a deep, luminescent blue, shimmered faintly under the starlight, and her large violet eyes could see beyond the visible spectrum, perceiving energies and auras unseen by others. But it was her unique abilities that truly set her apart. The power to manipulate energy and catch glimpses of the future, gifts that frightened her family and community. Lyra's family had always struggled to understand her. They saw her abilities as a curse, a danger that could bring ruin upon them. Fearful and superstitious, they isolated her, hoping that her powers would fade or disappear altogether. But as Lyra grew, so did her abilities, becoming more pronounced and powerful. Her visions of the future became clearer, and her control over energy more refined. One fateful evening, under the guise of taking her for a walk through the forest, Lyra's parents led her deep into the heart of the bioluminescent woods. They spoke little, their faces masked with a grim determination that Lyra couldn't quite decipher. As the forest around them grew denser and darker, the glowing plants casting eerie shadows, her parents suddenly stopped. "Stay here," her mother said, her voice cold and distant. "We'll be back soon." Before Lyra could protest, her parents turned and walked away, their figures quickly swallowed by the shadows. Panic welled up inside her as she realized what was happening. They weren't coming back. They were leaving her here, alone. Lyra called out, her voice breaking the silence of the forest, but there was no response. Tears streamed down her cheeks, glowing faintly in the dim light. She collapsed to the ground, her heart heavy with a mix of fear, sorrow, and betrayal. Days turned into nights, and the once beautiful forest became a prison of loneliness and despair. Lyra wandered aimlessly, her energy waning as she struggled to find food and shelter. The vibrant colors of the forest, once a source of wonder, now seemed mocking and cruel. She found solace only in the faint glimmers of hope provided by her visions, but even those were fleeting and unclear. One particularly cold night, Lyra huddled beneath a large glowing tree, its branches casting a soft blue light over her. She felt weaker than ever, her body trembling from hunger and exhaustion. As she closed her eyes, a vision came to her, a vision of a strange creature, unlike anything she had seen before, approaching her with kindness and compassion. In her vision, the creature had the body of a human, but the head of a dog, with warm, expressive eyes that radiated empathy. It extended a paw towards her, and she felt a wave of comfort wash over her. The vision was so vivid, so real, that it gave her a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, someone would come to help her. The next morning, as the first rays of Zalara's twin suns pierced through the canopy, Lyra awoke to the sound of something crashing through the forest. Her heart raced as she struggled to her feet, her vision still blurry from sleep and tears. She followed the sound, her curiosity and hope driving her forward despite her fear. As she neared the source of the commotion, she saw smoke rising above the trees. Her pace quickened, and soon she found herself standing before a crashed spacecraft, its hull dented and smoking. And there, emerging from the wreckage, was the creature from her vision, a tall, humanoid figure with the head of a dog, his fur matted and singed from the crash. The creature stumbled, clearly injured, but his eyes were just as kind and expressive as in her vision. He noticed Lyra and, despite his pain, managed a reassuring smile. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice deep and gentle. "Do you need help?" Lyra's heart leaped with both fear and hope. She took a cautious step forward, her voice barely a whisper. I was abandoned. My family left me here." The creature's expression softened with empathy. He extended a paw, just as he had in her vision. "You're not alone anymore. I'll help you. My name is Max." Tears welled up in Lyra's eyes once more, but this time they were tears of relief. She reached out and took Max's paw, feeling a warmth and connection she had never known. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, no longer alone in the vast, beautiful, and dangerous world of Zilara. The crash site was a scene of chaos and destruction. Max, the humanoid canine, stood amid the wreckage of his spacecraft, assessing the damage. Sparks flew from exposed wires, and smoke billowed from the twisted metal. His once sleek, silver ship was now a crumpled heap, its advanced technology rendered useless by the catastrophic landing. Max's fur was singed in places, and he bore several cuts and bruises, but his primary concern was the young alien girl standing before him. Lyra watched him with wide, curious eyes, her fear slowly giving way to fascination. Max's presence was both strange and comforting, his dog-like features making him appear both familiar and alien. His eyes, a deep, soulful brown, radiated kindness and concern as he approached her. "I'm sorry about your ship," Lyra said softly, her voice trembling. "Are you hurt?" Max shook his head, managing a reassuring smile. "I've had worse landings. More importantly, are you all right? You said you were abandoned?" Lyra nodded, tears welling up in her eyes once more. "My family left me here. They were afraid of my abilities. I don't know why they did this." Max's heart ached for her. He couldn't understand how anyone could abandon a child, let alone one as special as Lyra. He gently placed a paw on her shoulder. "You're safe now. We'll figure this out together." Lyra looked up at him, her violet eyes shimmering with hope. "Thank you, Max. I don't know what I would have done without you." Max nodded, his resolve strengthening. "First things first, we need to find shelter and some food. Then we can think about what to do next." Despite his injuries, Max's enhanced senses allowed him to navigate the forest with ease. He led Lyra through the dense undergrowth, his keen sense of smell guiding them to a nearby stream. The water was crystal clear, and Max knelt down, cupping his hands to drink. Lyra followed suit, the cool water refreshing her parched throat. As they rested by the stream, Max examined his surroundings, taking note of the various flora and fauna. The forest was teeming with life, its beauty almost surreal. He turned to Lyra, who was watching a group of bioluminescent insects flit about. "This place is incredible. Can you tell me more about it?" Lyra smiled, happy to share her knowledge. "This is the Luminara Forest. It's one of the most beautiful and dangerous places on Zilara. The plants and animals here have evolved to glow in the dark, creating a kind of natural light show. But there are also predators that use the light to lure their prey." Max listened intently, impressed by her understanding of the environment. "We'll have to be careful then. Do you know of any safe places where we can rest for the night?" Lyra thought for a moment, then nodded. "There's a cave not far from here. It's hidden behind a waterfall. It's well protected and should be safe." With Lyra leading the way, they made their way to the cave. The sound of rushing water grew louder as they approached, and soon they found themselves standing before a majestic waterfall. Lyra pointed to a narrow path that led behind the curtain of water. "The cave is just behind there." Max went first, making sure the path was safe for Lyra. The cave was spacious and dry, its entrance well hidden by the waterfall. They settled in for the night, using leaves and moss to create makeshift beds. As they lay down, Lyra couldn't help but feel a sense of comfort and security she hadn't felt in a long time. "Max," she whispered, her voice echoing softly in the cave. "Why did you come to Zilara?" Max sighed, his eyes reflecting the flickering light from the entrance. "I was on a reconnaissance mission. My people, the Canadans, are explorers. We travel the galaxy, seeking out new worlds and new civilizations. I was supposed to gather information about Zilara and report back." Lyra's curiosity was piqued. "Why do you explore? What are you looking for?" Max smiled, a hint of sadness in his eyes. "We're looking for a new home. Our planet was destroyed in a war, and we've been searching for a place where we can rebuild. Zilara seemed promising, but now, I don't know." Lyra reached out, placing a hand on his paw. "Maybe we can find a way to help each other. You saved me, Max. I want to help you too." Max looked at her, his heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Lyra. Together, we'll find a way." As they drifted off to sleep, the cave filled with the soothing sound of the waterfall. Both Max and Lyra felt a sense of hope. They had found each other in the vast, lonely expanse of the universe, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Outside, the forest glowed softly under the twin moons of Zilara, a silent witness to the beginning of a remarkable friendship. The next morning, Lyra and Max awoke to the soft light filtering through the waterfall. The cave, once a place of refuge, now felt like the starting point of a new adventure. Max stretched, wincing slightly at the bruises and cuts from his crash. Lyra, sensing his discomfort, reached out her hand and let a faint, warm glow emanate from her fingertips. She placed her hand on his shoulder, and Max felt a soothing warmth spread through his body, easing his pain. "Thank you, Lyra," he said, marveling at her abilities. "That feels much better." Lyra smiled shyly. "It's the least I can do. You've done so much for me already." With their spirits lifted, they prepared to continue their journey. Lyra led Max through the forest, her familiarity with the terrain helping them avoid the more dangerous areas. As they walked, they talked, sharing stories of their pasts and dreams for the future. Max was fascinated by Lyra's visions. She explained how they often came to her in moments of need, providing glimpses of possible futures. Though they were often vague and fleeting, they had guided her more than once through difficult times. As they traveled deeper into the forest, Lyra began to sense a new vision forming. She closed her eyes and let it wash over her. She saw a hidden valley, nestled deep within the mountains, where beings of all kinds lived in harmony. It was a place of safety and acceptance, a sanctuary for those who were different. "There's a place we can go," Lyra said, opening her eyes. "A sanctuary deep in the mountains. It's a place where we'll be safe." Max nodded, trusting her vision. "Then that's where we'll go. Lead the way, Lyra." Their journey took them through varied and breathtaking landscapes. They crossed vast meadows filled with flowers that glowed in the twilight, and climbed rocky hills that offered stunning views of Zalara's twin suns setting on the horizon. Along the way, they encountered other inhabitants of the planet, some friendly, others less so. One afternoon, as they navigated a dense thicket, they stumbled upon a group of creatures known as Virex. The Virex were large reptilian beings with sharp claws and teeth, known for their territorial nature. They hissed and snarled, surrounding Max and Lyra. Max stepped forward, ready to defend Lyra, but she gently touched his arm. "Let me try something," she whispered. With a deep breath, Lyra focused her energy, allowing it to flow through her body and into the ground. The earth beneath the Virex began to glow, and the creatures hesitated, sensing the unfamiliar power. Lyra extended her hand, emitting a calming aura. Slowly, the Virex relaxed, their hostility melting away. They backed off, allowing Max and Lyra to pass unharmed. "That was incredible," Max said, once they were safely away. "You really have a gift." Lyra blushed. "I'm just glad it worked. I've never tried anything like that before." As they continued, their bond grew stronger. Max admired Lyra's bravery and compassion, while Lyra felt grateful for Max's unwavering support and strength. Together, they made a formidable team, each complementing the other's abilities. After several weeks of travel, they finally reached the base of the mountains. The climb was arduous, but they were determined. Lyra's visions guided them, showing them the safest paths and warning them of potential dangers. Max's strength and endurance helped them overcome the toughest obstacles. One night, as they camped in a sheltered alcove high in the mountains, Lyra had another vision. She saw the sanctuary clearly, a hidden valley filled with vibrant life, its inhabitants welcoming and kind. She saw herself and Max standing among them, happy and at peace. "We're close," she told Max, her voice filled with excitement. "The sanctuary is just beyond that ridge." The next morning they made the final push. The climb was steep and treacherous, but Lyra's vision gave them the strength to continue. As they reached the top of the ridge, they looked down into the valley below. It was just as Lyra had seen, a hidden paradise filled with lush vegetation and crystalline structures that shimmered in the sunlight. Max and Lyra descended into the valley, their hearts pounding with anticipation. They were met by a group of the sanctuary's inhabitants. a diverse assembly of beings from various planets and species. Among them were other Zalarans, Canadans like Max, and many others. A tall, graceful being stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with warmth and wisdom. "Welcome to Sanctuary," she said, her voice melodic and soothing. "I am Lyra, the leader of this community. You are safe here." Lyra felt tears of relief and joy welling up in her eyes. Max placed a comforting paw on her shoulder, his own eyes reflecting the same emotions. They had finally found a place where they belonged, a place where they could be themselves without fear or judgment. As they settled into their new home, Lyra and Max quickly became integral parts of the community. Lyra honed her abilities, learning to control and harness her powers for the benefit of all. Max used his skills to protect and aid the sanctuary's inhabitants, his bravery and kindness earning him admiration and respect. Together they had found a new beginning in the hidden valley of Sanctuary. It was a place where they could heal, grow, and thrive, surrounded by friends and allies who accepted and celebrated their differences. Their journey had been long and challenging, but it had led them to a place where they truly belonged, a place where they could finally call home. In the tranquil haven of Sanctuary, life began to take on a rhythm of peace and purpose for Lyra and Max. The valley, protected by towering mountains and shimmering crystal structures, provided a safe and nurturing environment for all its inhabitants. Lyra and Max quickly integrated into the community, their unique abilities making them valuable members of this diverse society. Lyra spent her days learning to master her powers with the guidance of Lyra, the community's wise leader. Under Lyra's tutelage, Lyra discovered new ways to harness her energy manipulation skills and her precognitive visions. She practiced focusing her energy to heal injuries and soothe emotional distress, becoming a healer and protector among her new friends. One afternoon, Lyra stood in a meadow, concentrating on a small orb of light floating above her palm. Lyra watched, with a proud smile, as Lyra's control over the energy grew stronger. "You're doing wonderfully, Lyra. Your abilities are a gift to us all," Lyra said, her voice full of warmth. Lyra beamed with pride. "Thank you, Lyra. I'm grateful for your guidance. I finally feel like I belong." Meanwhile, Max found his niche in the sanctuary as a guardian and explorer. His keen senses and physical prowess made him a natural protector, and he often led expeditions beyond the valley to gather resources and explore new territories. Max's bravery and kindness earned him the admiration and respect of everyone in the sanctuary. On one such expedition, Max and a small team of scouts discovered an ancient library hidden in a cavern deep within the mountains. The library was filled with scrolls and tablets containing knowledge from civilizations long past. Max's discovery excited the community, providing them with invaluable information about their world and the universe beyond. Max shared his findings with Lyra one evening as they sat by a crackling fire in the central gathering area of the sanctuary. "This place is incredible, Lyra. There's so much we can learn from the past. It's like we've been given a key to unlock the mysteries of the universe," Max said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Lyra nodded, her heart swelling with hope. "We're building something special here, Max, a place where everyone can thrive and grow, where we can make a difference." As the months passed, the sanctuary flourished under the care and leadership of its inhabitants. The crystal structures that dotted the valley served as homes, meeting places, and learning centers, their walls shimmering with the energy of the community's shared purpose. Gardens and orchards thrived, providing ample food for everyone, while streams of crystal-clear water flowed through the valley, sustaining life and vitality. One day, Lyra called a gathering of the entire community in the central square, a large open area surrounded by the towering crystal buildings. Lyra and Max stood among their friends, feeling a sense of unity and belonging that they had never experienced before. Lyra addressed the crowd, her voice carrying a message of hope and gratitude. "We have come together from different worlds and different backgrounds, united by our shared desire for peace and understanding. Our sanctuary is a testament to what we can achieve when we embrace our differences and work together. Let us continue to build a future where everyone is valued and respected, where our unique gifts can shine." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Lyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had found her place, her family, in this sanctuary. The fear and isolation she had once known were now distant memories, replaced by love and acceptance. As the community celebrated, Max turned to Lyra, his eyes reflecting the happiness in his heart. "We've come a long way, Lyra. From the moment we met in that forest, we've faced so many challenges, but we've always had each other. I'm grateful for every step of this journey." Lyra smiled, her violet eyes shimmering with emotion. "I couldn't have done it without you, Max. You've been my strength, my protector, and my friend. Together, we've found our home." In the months and years that followed, Lyra and Max continued to grow and thrive in the sanctuary. Lyra became a renowned healer and seer, her abilities helping to guide and protect the community. Max's explorations and discoveries expanded their knowledge and resources, ensuring the sanctuary's prosperity. Their bond, forged in the trials and tribulations of their journey, remained unbreakable. They stood side by side, facing each new challenge with courage and determination, their hearts united by a shared purpose. In the hidden valley of Sanctuary, Lyra and Max had found more than just a place to live. They had found a family, a community that celebrated their differences and supported their dreams. Their journey had led them to a new beginning, a place where they could finally call home. As the sun set over the tranquil valley, casting a warm, golden glow over the crystal structures, Lyra and Max stood together, looking out at the place they had come to love. They knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, united by the strength of their friendship and the enduring spirit of hope and acceptance that defined their sanctuary.